Right. Yeah. And what kind of patients are we typically seeing that are seeking out Ortho-K treatment after LASIK? I've seen a variety of LASIK patients where, you the first thing you think of is the example you used where they expected this result to last, for the rest of their lives. It didn't. But then you also see these cases where they've had, these horrible things happen because of LASIK. And I'm not here to talk about whether LASIK is good or bad. I'll leave that up to every optometrist in their own way. But so what is your typical patient that you're seeing? Are you seeing the first variety or a combination of both?
Well, first of all, in terms of age, these are usually over 40, although we have a handful of patients that are under 40 and they, going to last. And like you said, people have this mindset, well, I do LASIK and then for the rest of my life. We all know that. As a matter of fact, they cite there's a disclaimer, well, you may need glasses again in the future. That doesn't guarantee that you're not going to need glasses. We've seen patients that are loving it. They love LASIK. And, for 10 years, it went great. And what I see a fundamental pattern that happens in all LASIK patients is that all of these patients, or most of them, to a certain extent, I would say even up to 70%, they have different degrees of dry eye or, ocular surface disease, or whatever you want to call it. So many of them, it's just dramatic. And some of them have their life ruined. I don't want to scare anyone here. I'm not against LASIK, but it does happen. We know it does happen. Of course, other things that we see are patients with post-surgical ectasias, the cornea kind of bulges out. And then now they have 20 diopters instead of 3 that they started with. And now we do you put them with sclerals and they go. I mean, I remember this beautiful girl, 30 years old, executive, and she's a minus 20 something. And she had dry eye as hell. Let me turn these off. Okay, there you go. She has these horrible dry eyes. So you're fighting not just the refraction, you're fighting the poor tears, and you're trying to make them so they don't get red eyes all the time. It's just now, we're doing different things for dry eye. We're doing platelet-rich plasma growth factors, amniotic membranes, APL, radio frequency, all these things that we're doing are a godsend, and they really help these people. But again, the point is that usually it's patients over 40. And these are people, like you said, that don't want to wear glasses and they're okay putting something at night.
Yeah. And when they come to you, what kind of state are they basically in? Because I can imagine that after going through, this expectation, they are exasperated with the fact that they don't have the results that they were expecting for life. So talk about setting expectations with them, because I have to imagine, like you said earlier, you got to have informed consent. You got to make sure they understand everything about the process. So talk about setting expectations with these patients, because obviously you can't guarantee results given the circumstances.
Yeah, and you see, Matt, I don't think there's a different. So setting expectations, of course, they understand they have to wear those molds at night, right? I mean, when they sleep. So they know that, and they know it's going to happen every night. For some people, some individuals, they can get away just by doing it 3-4 times a week, and they're happy with it. If we're doing one eye distant near, we play with it. Sometimes they wear every other night for the non-dominant eye. I mean, there's all kind of variations. It's just a process. When you've done thousands, you have different combinations there, right? Different protocols, different algorithms that you use. But as far as the expectations, they're not very different, to be honest, to patients that have regular Ortho-K. The expectations are the same. And we talk about adaptation, in particular when you have to correct distance and near, you do have to talk about adaptation. There's going to be an adapter. Believe it or not, LASIK patients don't have as many issues anymore because they already went through the stage of glare, for instance. Glare and flare. Glare is a big issue, right, in Ortho-K, also in LASIK, but they already had that problem. They already went through that process. They already went through the process of disappointment and frustration because, hey, you know what? I paid $5,000, whatever it was, for LASIK. It didn't last long enough, and now what do I do? By the time they come to us, they already passed that stage. So they are more into the, all right, what can you do for me? I'm excited again. All right, I didn't know this existed, so now I can get rid of my glasses again, right? So they're excited again.
If you're interested in getting the rest of the episode, consider becoming a paid supporter of the Myopia Mindset. In addition to an extended version of this episode and every other episode that we do, you'll also get access to exclusive monthly bonus episodes of the Myopia Mindset. And I know you're interested. You've made it this far. You can do so on our Substack, myopiamindset.substack.com. I'll see you at the next one.